You're watching the Fantasy Football Bros podcast, the show that'll keep you from coming in last. Now, here's your hosts.
Hi, welcome into the Fantasy Football Bros podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Jimmy Romero, and we made it, guys. We made it past going through team by team and giving you a rundown of who to pick. I'm once again, though, joined by Nick and JD. We're going to take you on a journey through a mock draft, guys. So basically how this mock draft is going to work, we're each assigned a certain spot in that draft, multiple spots in a draft, and we're going to pick for that spot. So if you're in this spot, pay attention because this could be very helpful for you. We are doing a 12-team half PPR league, so not the full PPR. That, of course, would change things and not a standard. That would totally change things. So this is half PPR, remember. So first, though, let's just dive in, and I think Nick is going to lead us off with pick number 1. You're on the clock.
Yeah. So I always pick number 1 in our family league, me and Jimmy's family league and stuff like that. And also, I just want to add, this is the last Sunday without football.
Oh, it is.
And this is the last Saturday, too, where you're going to get like that anxiety of who you're going to start, who you're going to sit. So just sit back and relax, right, boys?
Exactly.
All right. Well, so I guess I'm on the clock, which should take, 5 seconds probably. Christian McCaffrey all day, every day. I mean, there's really no reason not to pick him. I think even like whenever he has bad games, he's still going to get you like 25 points. I even think like there was a couple games where he pretty much just played like half the game and got 20 points. So Christian McCaffrey, the only thing you should be worried is if he gets hurt.
All right. Nice. JD, you're on the clock with pick 2. Who are you picking?
All right. Pick number 2. I'm going to go with Jimmy's personal favorite player, Dalvin Cook. I mean, just if you guys watched last year, he had that 1 week where he had like an injury scare. I think he missed the next week.
Yeah, groin injury.
But besides that, he was consistent, and he was someone you could always rely on to get you. I mean, he was getting you 18 to 20 points, I think, every single time you almost started him last year. So if he can stay healthy, that's the one concern, as is with any running back in the NFL. But, Dalvin Cook has to be the guy you'd go with at number 2.
Smart pick, wise pick, safe pick. Number 3, this one's where we kind of get a little weird because you can pick either Derrick Henry or Kamara. But a week or two ago, I think it was a week ago, Jameis Winston was announced the starter. So I'm going with Kamara. Number 3. In half PPR, especially because it's half PPR, I want those receptions that Derrick Henry will not get you, and I want a strong start. Like, we forget that Kamara was the number 1 running back last year, and I'm afraid Derrick Henry will take a little while to get started, and I want those wins early. I don't want to be coming back at halfway through the season. So Kamara, you're my man. Take me to the promised land.
Wow, Jimmy believes that it's no matter what, Derrick Henry's starting slow.
I kind of do, yeah. I think he will.
Okay. We'll see.
All right.
See.
So now Nick, you'd be in the 4th spot.
Yeah. I guess by default, it was kind of like whoever Jimmy didn't pick in that slot, I think you got to go with the other person. So that being said, it's Derrick Henry. I mean, the guy's a beast. He's just going to get you a ton of yards. Not going to catch the most passes, but, he's the guy.
All right.
I guess I'm picking at number 5 here. I'm going to go with just the easy, safe pick, in my opinion, with Zeke Elliott. I think with his line coming back, he's going to have Tyron Smith and Martin. Everyone's going to be back, so I think he's going to be the safe pick for everyone to kind of go with. He's going to get you those points. So your biggest worry is basically, can he stay healthy? Can the line stay healthy again this next season? I think he's, in my opinion, I'm going to throw some shade out to Jimmy right here. I think he's better than Alvin Kamara.
He could be. Definitely. He has the potential to be.
He has the line too. And Dalvin usually gets hurt. Doesn't usually get hurt, but I mean, he's getting in that age where he can get hurt. What is he, like 26 now? So, and he's just kind of like carrying the ball all the time for them. So I can see him getting hurt, but I mean, I still think Dalvin Cook is that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Jim.
So I got the 6th spot, and this is when I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball. I guess not totally, but on these rankings that we're kind of like using as an illustration, I'm going out of the limb here, and I'm going with Nick Chubb in the 6th spot. I just think Chubb is a bona fide RB1, even with Kareem Hunt there. You don't need to worry about him. You plug and play him. He doesn't have the catching's upside, but he's got that probably the best O-line. People argue that's the best O-line in football. So I'm going to trust that run-first team is going to give the ball to Nick Chubb, and I can put Chubb in and breathe easy at night. So Nick Chubb, you're my sixth pick. Well,
it's a good pick. Jimmy's making it easy on me. I'm going with an Aaron Jones. I mean, Aaron Jones is so versatile, can run the ball, can catch the ball. He's so good. So going with Aaron Jones with that 7 overall pick.
Are you at all worried about A.J. Dillon? Because, yeah.
I guess you're always a little bit worried when they draft someone the year prior and see if they start to develop. But, I mean, I think Aaron Jones, if they didn't believe in him, they wouldn't sign him to that contract that they did. So I still believe in him. So I'm going with Aaron Jones.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, guys, we're doing the first 3 rounds. 3 rounds. So.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, JD, you are on the clock with the 8th pick in the draft.
8th pick. Well, it's very tough here because I basically think Davante Adams is going to have another great year. I'm very tough taking a wide receiver in round 1, coming from what happened last year when I did that, and he only played 1 or 2 games all season with Michael Thomas. So I'm probably going to drop a little bit as far as what my rankings are, and I'm going to go with the next running back available. I'm going to go Austin Eckler.
Wow, really?
Wow.
Okay.
I'm not the highest on him, but I think as far as who has the most upside on any team for running back that's left right now, I think Austin Eckler has the biggest upside. He might have the biggest risk too, but I think he has the biggest upside, being able to basically be the number 1 lead back at the Chargers and being that pass catching running back that he really is.
Yeah, him and Aaron Jones and Kamara are kind of similar type running backs where they're going to catch a lot of the balls out of the backfield. But go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
All right, so I'm in this 9th spot here, and I'm debating on who to pick. Now, this kind of becomes this area where we start to see Saquon come into play. We can go super safe and take even a Travis Kelce a little earlier. This 9th spot is a tough one. You can grab another young running back like Jonathan Taylor. But I'm here, and I'm going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I need an advantage since I'm at the back end of the first round. Everyone who's picked ahead of me has a better player, pretty much. So what advantage can I have over them? I can grab the best wide receiver. That's the advantage I can have over them, and I'm grabbing Davante Adams with the 9th pick.
It's a good pick. Yeah, I totally agree with Jimmy. I mean, everyone has solid running backs. If you're in that 10 spot in 12-person league, I mean, they have some amazing, running backs. I was in a position last time, 2 years ago, where I had a later pick, and I agree with Jimmy. You gotta pick the best available, and I think that next person is probably Tyreek Hill. That's who I'm going to take with the 10th. And you can always just kind of wait. If you're in this 10th spot, you just wait for whoever comes kind of around. I mean, I'm okay with, if I'm in that 10th spot, I'm okay with getting Jonathan Taylor. I'm okay with getting Saquon Barkley. I'm okay with even getting Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
So I think that being in that spot, it's it's not going to kill you.
As it swings
and I'm
around.
even okay with Mixon.
Yeah, it's going to swing
I'm okay
around.
With Mixon.
The draft will swing around. You'll be able to pick one of those guys.
So that's who I'm going with the 10th.
All right, nice.
I guess that leaves me at the 11th. So I'm going to go kind of a little bit in the opposite direction from everyone so far. And I'm going to take the first tight end off the board. I'm going to go Travis Kelce.
I like it.
I think he, just like Tyreek Hill, I think he is one of those people on the Kansas City Chiefs you want a piece of. You want a piece of that offense, and nothing better than to have a for sure tight end on your team.
All right, so 12's kind of a tough spot because here I am in the 12th spot. Here you are, you're on the clock, and you're like, crap, if I take 2 running backs, like 2 mid-range running backs, I'll be okay at running back, but by the time I get to my turn back around, I'm going to end up with lower wide receivers. And actually, I probably would have grabbed Kelsey if I was in this spot if JD didn't grab him at 11th. So now it puts me in a hole of, do I grab a top wide receiver and then a running back right now? And that's exactly what I'm going to do. With this 12th pick, though, first, I'm going to grab Stephon Diggs, this 12th.
I like that.
His receptions are so high, and he didn't get the touchdowns he did last year, so those can only go up. Touchdowns are game script dependent. He had so many receptions. I forget exactly how many yards it was. JD, do you remember? It was almost like, it was 1,500 yards, something like that, right? Total
it was,
yards.
I think, a little bit more than that. I would have to double look. But
Yeah,
I think it was like, yeah.
So many yards,
like
so many receptions, safe. Josh Allen's only going to, seems like he can only get better at this point. So now I'm on the clock again because it's a snake draft. And I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball here. This is what I would pick here because of volume. I want a guy I know for a fact who's going to get a lot of volume for my running back. This guy is going to be my running back 1, and that is going to be Najee Harris as my running back 1.
Ooh.
Yep. A lot of the other guys, see, I could go Mixon. That's probably my other option is between him and Mixon because I wanted a volume-based guy. Mixon lets people down too many times. I feel like he's always he's solid. I think he should go probably at the end of this round, maybe the middle of this round. Najee Harris has that upside. I think he could be drafted in the first, like I talked about last episode. I think he could be a first round draft pick next year. So now I set myself up with Diggs and Najee Harris as my running back because we know he's going to get the touches. Fantasy football is not necessarily about the best talent. It's a lot about volume. Volume kind of gets you there. So that's why I took Najee Harris with the first pick of the second round, which is the 13th pick in the entire draft. So JD, you're once again on the clock.
All right.
With this team,
I could be wrong, but I think we all skipped over Saquon, right?
We did. I don't want Saquon.
Anyone taking
Jonathan Taylor too.
I was just gonna say, for the same exact reason that Jimmy took Najee, which is volume. Saquon is basically maybe not week 1, but he's definitely going to get those majority of the carries. He's a 3-down running back on a team that doesn't have anyone near his talent at running back. He's going to get the ball every down. He's an option at the very least.
Yeah.
If they pass the ball, that's if he's doing not a rub route or a block, or if he's just staying in the back. But even then, he can still always catch the ball, and they run the ball 2 out of their 3 downs, and then they rely on Daniel Jones. He's going to get the carries. He's going to get those touches this year.
I'm just nervous about the slow
on,
start again. I wouldn't want him right off the back of my RB1 because I don't want that slow start.
Right, but Barkley has so much upside.
Yep.
I mean, this guy, literally, his ceiling is so high. He was going in a lot of drafts last year at number 2 overall. Jimmy's right. We don't know about his knee, but he has such a high ceiling. It makes you kind of salivate over that. But with my pick here, I think in a 12-person league, you got to get a running back in one of the first 2 rounds. So we picked Hill. We picked Hill in this position. So we're going to go ahead and take a chance on Jonathan Taylor.
Ooh,
I mean, I think you got to. If you can get Taylor in the second round, I think that's good. I mean, obviously you're concerned about that running back trio there, but I also think at the same time, Jonathan Taylor is going to be that guy for them. Great offensive line, going to be a better offense. I feel like this year, so I expect him to do better. But
yeah.
You got to get a running back here.
So here I am kind of in the same situation. I got to get a running back. So what running back is available? I have a couple that I would consider. I'd consider Hilaire, I'd consider Gibson, and I'd consider Mixon here. I have Adams as my first pick. I have an amazing wide receiver as my number 1 unlock. So I feel like I can afford to go with the guy with the most upside at this spot. And that's the guy that I'm picking here, Antonio Gibson, because of his potential to get the receiving. He's very much a receiving back, and I think they're gonna slowly just make him the 3-down back. Now, my second option actually would have been Hilaire, but for here, I'm gonna go Gibson because of his upside. So that's what I'm picking with in this round. And so that leaves JD on the clock.
So this is a little bit tough for me. I took with this team, I took Eckler as my running back 1. And it kind of leaves me in the feeling of the same as you guys. I don't know if I necessarily want to take my RB2 right away right now. I can, but I feel like I'm dropping a little bit, and I'm not going to be getting a top-end wide receiver. So that being said, I'm going to a little bit lower than what most people actually have him ranked at, but I'm really high on him. I'm going to get DK Metcalf for this team right here. I just think the size of him, The only thing that's ever questionable for him is his hands. If he can get those, which he can work on, if he can get those and catch even more balls thrown to him, I mean, that guy is going to end up being a potential wide receiver stat-wise number 1 on the season. He has that type of upside to him.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. That was who I was going to go with my next team, who we picked with Aaron Jones. With that being said, I think the next available best is Calvin Ridley. I mean, Calvin Ridley, we talk about how he's going to get volume being so important. I mean, there's really no other receiver now that Julio's gone. And you saw how great of a season Calvin had last year when Julio was off. So I just expect him to just be their number 1 guy and Matt Ryan's favorite target. So I'm going with Calvin Ridley.
In the 6th spot here, I feel like I can get a good wide receiver 1 if I pick another running back here. I have a very rush-heavy running back, so I will, with this pick another running back, and that running back's going to be CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The Chiefs upgraded that O-line. It's now ranked one of the top O-lines. Second year. Now, he was very fantasy relevant, like we talked about, and I just feel like he has that 3-down back potential, top 5 running back potential because of that high-powered offense. If he could just translate some of those red zone touches into touchdowns, boom, the sky's the limit for CEH. And that's so I'd like to put Chubb and CEH on that same team, get that combo. All right. JD?
All right. So I guess I get the next pick, and for this team, the last one I had was Zeke. And so with Zeke, honestly, at this point, I'm just kind of going with what's the best available near the kind of the lower half of round 2 now. And I'm going to go with Hopkins. He worries me a little bit being on the same team as a run-heavy offense when you have Kyler Murray. But I think he's just that step above as far as wide receivers go. I think he's a top 5 wide receiver. On any team, he would be really good. And I think he'll have another great season. I mean, he had a great season last year, even despite all that. And I think he's going to have a great season again.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah, JD keeps snaking me, man. That's what it's going to do. Just because my personal preference is I don't like to have like 2 wide receivers or a wide receiver running back combo. And so with this team 4 that I have, I picked Derrick Henry. And I want to get A.J. Brown. But for that reason, just my personal preference, I don't like to stack on a certain team just because it's just so... Yeah, it can be beneficial, but also at the same time, you could just end up if one bad game and it ruins your whole week, and you pretty much lose.
The other.
Yeah, right. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Justin Jefferson with the team.
Interesting. I like it.
I think Justin Jefferson is going to take another step forward this year, and he's only getting better. So
he got 1,400 yards last year, and he didn't even wasn't even relevant the first 4 games. He's a rookie. They didn't even get preseason. The guy still got 1,400 yards. Are you kidding me? It's insane. So
yep.
Yeah. All right. So this next pick. So Nick kind of took mine. That's why I was going to go Jefferson. But this is going to be my other one too. Is I'm going AJ Brown. I believe in him. I believe that Julio will make that offense just better. I think he'll help him with touchdowns, with AJ Brown with touchdowns, and he'll just take another step forward. And AJ Brown just a bona fide wide receiver. With one of these elite running backs, I'd like to pair a wide receiver 1 with them, and I can kind of so I get another pick too soon. So yeah, wide receiver for this pick, and that's AJ Brown.
All right. So with this, this is actually my team with Cook. And so it's a little bit tough here on what I would want to do here. I think I'm going to go with honestly best available, and I don't think anyone picked up Joe Mixon, did they?
No.
Nope.
So I think I would be very comfortable having a Cook and then go with Joe Mixon. Have that little bit of a worry with Joe Mixon. But, I mean, he has such upside. We talk about it year in, year out, like we did, I think, even just the last episode. He has that upside with him where he could be – I mean, he could win you a league if he can stay healthy, and he has the type of season we've been talking about years that he should have.
Nice. I like it. Nick,
Yeah, like I said,
2 picks now.
Yeah, I said, JD keeps snaking my guys.
Yes.
Just like a little bit of a fun fact here. Even my family league with our league, I got Mixon and McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of funny that in this little mock draft that we have going here, that I was going to get Mixon and McCaffrey. So, but with this next pick, I mean, it's like going first or last because you get that two picks in a row, and I think that's super beneficial. With this pick, I'm probably going to go with Terry McLaurin. I think that Terry McLaurin is going to have a great year. I think that obviously, Fitz magic, baby. He's he's a gunslinger. He's going to stand in the pocket and chuck the balls. So I think he's going to have another good year. And this next pick, I think obviously you're in a little bit of a tough spot because all the running backs are usually top heavy, right? Where they're always in the good running backs are in the top, round 1, round 2, and then early round 3, and then you're kind of screwed after that if you don't get your 2 running backs. So with that being said, I'm here with that team 1 pick as well. So you just want to. For me, I always like to build my depth at running back because they go down so often, unfortunately. But I think that's if you don't have a running back, then you're kind of in trouble. So
yep.
All right. I guess that leaves me with coming back around with that snake of I have Cook and Mixon, and honestly, I questioned it at first, but looking at the stats wise, I mean, I want a piece of that Chargers offense. I already have it with one team, and I really want it with another team of mine. So I'm going to go with Keenan Allen, best wide receiver available right now. You look at the stats last year for Herbert, who didn't even start the season as their QB1, and he still had over 4,300 yards throwing. I only see him getting better, just like Jimmy said with Josh Allen. I think Herbie over here, Herbie fully loaded, only gets better.
Nice, Keenan Allen. Okay, so with my pick, the 3rd pick in the 3rd round, I have Kamara and Brown on this team. So I think I'd want the last good running back available. I think one of the last solid running backs, I feel like, who is David Montgomery, would have to go with this pick. I think they put Tariq Cohen is on the PUP list, so he's not playing the first few weeks. So that's Montgomery's role. Hopefully he'll get better. I don't have extreme faith in him, but I have faith in him as an RB2 behind Kamara, and it gives me options. So David Montgomery is my running back 2, and he's going in my 3rd round.
Yeah, I'm going to contradict myself with my team 1 pick. I just like to build depth. I
feel like I'm contradicting myself too when I get to.
But I feel like it's all situational, right? I mean, the best available to me is CeeDee Lamb. I think that's just the best pick for this team, and obviously with these drafts, you just want to, if you're able to get quality players who get you above 15 points per game consistently, then it doesn't matter what you have in any other position. I feel like with running back, I mean, you can find a running back who gets you 10 points, and that could be okay for you. So I think with that being said, I think it's really important just getting people who you believe in and who you think you are gonna just get consistent points for you. So I'm going with CeeDee Lamb.
Nice, I like it. Good pick.
Yeah, I like CeeDee Lamb. Just real quickly to piggyback off that, I mean, I'm a big believer in CeeDee Lamb. I took him 13th last year, and it showed dividends. I mean, I got to
13th
keep him
round. Disclaimer.
Yeah, 13th round. Yeah, not 13th overall. We're talking 13th round. God, I would not take
Sooners.
13th round or 13 overall. Yeah. But no, basically, I'm kind of happy that he went that route, just simply because I have Zeke on my team. Like he said, I don't like to go 2 different positions from the same team. So that kind of opens up. I'm going to go with best running back available, and I'm a big believer in James Robinson again this year. The guy above him, I wouldn't even say above him, but the guy with him is out for the season, so I think he's going to get majority of these carries. The biggest question mark is just, again, like we talked about, is can he mesh well with this new head coach, and is this new head coach going to let him kind of be the workload running back that he is?
Yeah. I like it. All right, so I have some options here. And I could go with one of the tight ends and make that tight end basically my wide receiver 1 and try to go later. Or I could go with a wide receiver who has great hands by the name of Allen Robinson, and that's who I'm going with. I'm taking Allen Robinson with this Chubb CEH pairing. Let's grab a wide receiver 1. I'd feel more comfortable grabbing a tight end if I grabbed a running back, wide receiver, and then a tight end. For me, since I have 2 running backs, I think I want a wide receiver now just to have one, just plug and play. Allen Robinson is my.
Does the red rifle worry you at all?
What was that? The red rifle? Andy Dalton.
Worry you?
No, because I
depended on him.
I think he was. I think Andy Dalton will be all right. I think Justin Fields will end up taking the job. No matter what,
he's just a placeholder.
Allen Robinson will get targets, and targets lead to points in fantasy. It's that simple. It's not always about the skill. Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb did pretty well if you look at their stats last year with Andy Dalton there, and even when Andy Dalton went down for a week, Ben DiNucci came in and stuff like that. So I'm comfortable. Yeah, I'm comfortable putting Allen Robinson in as my wide receiver 1 and just relaxing. So yeah, that's my pick in the third round.
Like it. Okay, so with this team, I have Aaron Jones and Calvin Ridley. I think we need to. With this team, you need to get another running back because obviously we talked about how A.J. Dillon can dip in some time of Aaron Jones. With that being said, I tend to lean over. In this spot, I like Josh Jacobs.
Interesting.
Obviously, with the whole them getting what's his name? I'm trying to blank on his name.
Kenyon Drake.
Kenyon Drake. That scares you if you're a Josh Jacobs owner. That definitely scares you. But at the end of the day, we know that Josh Jacobs is a bona fide runner. He's going to get you some points. He's going to carry the ball. And I believe that they believe in him.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just more so that, he is going to get some touches, Kenyon Drake. But I think he's just the obvious number 1 back in that team.
Yeah, I like it. JD, who you got for Team 8 Eckler Metcalf team?
All right, yeah, for Eckler Metcalf on this team, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna spread it out a little bit more. I'm gonna go with. We talked about this right before we started this episode, but I'm gonna go with Darren Waller at tight end. He fell a lot more than I thought he would into this round because where the website I'm on that has him ranked, they have him as a low second round, early third, and this is in my opinion, this is kind of the lower half of the third at this point, and I think he has that upside of being. I mean, the Las Vegas Raiders don't have any wide receivers, and so he's going to get all those catches from Carr. He's going to eat them up.
All right, I like it. So I got the 9th pick. This is my Adams and Gibson team. To me, there's only one running back left that I could really see doing extremely well from what I can see now. Actually, there's 2. And I'm having a hard time picking between the 2. I want to have another running back because I have such a good wide receiver 1. Let's try to see if I can find a diamond in the running back. And it's between Darrell Henderson and DeAndre Swift. Now, I would have done Darrell Henderson easily if they didn't bring in Sony Michel. Sony Michel makes me a little more trepidatious, and I'm still nervous about DeAndre Swift because of Jamal Williams. But I'm going to take DeAndre Swift because of his receiving upside. And I believe that since it's his second year, I think he'll get the touches that he needs on this team. So I'm going to go DeAndre Swift with this team. 2 sophomore running backs on this team with a veteran Adams. So that's what I'm taking.
Nice. I like it. Especially because I got him in the 4th round. So, so with this team, with my team 10, has Tyreek Hill, and it has Jonathan Taylor. Obviously, I want to go running back, but I also feel like I can wait another round and get a running back that I'm okay with. So with that being said, I'm leaning here going. I'm going with Mike Evans.
Oh, okay.
Here.
I like it.
Yeah, I just think that Mike Evans, obviously, we've seen him be inconsistent at times, but I think he's probably their number 1 receiver at Tampa Bay, and obviously we saw him do better towards the end of the season in the playoff season, so I think he's really going to still be that guy for Tom Brady.
I like it. All right, JD, Team 11, Kelsey Saquon team.
All right, so with this team, 3rd round, We're kind of dropping a little bit lower than I'd like to for this position, but I'm going to end up going running back as well here. I'm going to go with Mike Davis. Now, I'm not the biggest Mike Davis fan, but I don't believe that they have quite the fight at running back that a lot of these other teams might. Kind of next to him, with Rams having, like Jimmy just said, with Sony Michel coming in. Miles Sanders, you could go here, but I just don't like the Philly running back situation. Just it feels like they don't run the ball like they should. They have a sophomore quarterback who reminds me a little bit of a Kyler Murray style quarterback, where he's going to run it a little bit more with Hurts. And so I'd prefer to go with a team with an older quarterback who might end up start dinking the ball off to a safety valve of Mike Davis. And in his couple weeks, he showed that he can be a decent running back in the league when McCaffrey went out last year. So hopefully he has that upside.
That volume should be there. Todd Gurley was really solid with them last year, beginning of last year. But so I got this last pick, and I'm going to be able to pick 2 picks. So it's kind of cheap because it's like you won't see this is our last pick of the entire thing. And so who I'd go, though, with this last pick in the 3rd round for Team 12, it's very simple for me. George Kittle. I'd take Kittle right there. And I'd probably grab a running back with the next pick, but you will never know that because we're only doing the first 3 rounds.
You're not going with Patty Mahomes?
I ain't a fool, JD. I ain't picking him in the 3rd, or maybe the next pick. No, but George Kittle, what can be said? I feel like he's just like most talented tight end. If it's
stay healthy, that's what you can say.
That's exactly what you can say. If he better stay freaking healthy. But yeah, so that's our draft, y'all. Let's go team by team and kind of like look who ended up being the final results for the audience so they can kind of see. So team 1, we got Nick. He picked in the 1st round. We went CMC, Terry McLaurin, Chris Carson. I feel like it's a solid team. I'm a little bit nervous, I think, about Scary Terry being like the wide receiver 1. But yeah, what do you guys have to say about that team, team 1?
I agree with you. I mean, McLaurin can be scary, but also there's that upside. Yeah. So he's always been successful with a subpar quarterback. So now that he has like a quarterback that can competently throw downfield, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. So then team 2, we got JD with Dalvin Cook, Mixon, and Keenan Allen.
This is a good team.
Yeah, that's a good start.
I'll say that. This is a good team.
That's a really good start.
Keenan Allen's great. We'll see. We'll probably see his numbers drop off a little bit. But,
that's a powerful running back right there.
Yeah. And Mixon, he's definitely can, obviously be hit or miss. But we're one more year. I'll give Mixon.
Yeah.
We'll see. After this year, then we're gonna let him, go into the 3rd or 4th round.
And then so team 3, we got Kamara, Brown, David Montgomery. JD, what do you think about this team? I know you don't like the Tennessee Titans, so I wanted to hear what you thought.
I think it's definitely a really good team, though. I'm not necessarily always the biggest Tennessee Titans fan, but Kamara he'll be good as long as he can stay healthy. I'm sure he will. So he's going to get those numbers for you. And then Montgomery, we saw a resurgence in his season or in his career, and he's only, I think, a 2-year running back. Yeah. This is going to be his 3rd year. But I had him his rookie season, and near the end of that, he did decent, but he worried me enough where I didn't want him last year, and he proved me wrong. You can see how well he did. I don't think that Tavon is it Cohen.
Also, Damian Williams. That's what scares me the most, fellas. Is Damian Williams scares me. Obviously, Montgomery's going to be the number 1 guy, but we kind of have a short memory of how horrible David Montgomery was all of last year at the beginning. We only remember the good parts of David Montgomery, where he was so good at the end of the season. And let's just also say that he was facing a really bad run defense.
Yep, bunch of bad
on that.
Defenses.
He was playing Houston. He was playing teams like Jaguars a couple times too. So I'm not sold on Montgomery.
All right,
I'll just say that.
Sounds good. All right, that's team 4. That's Nick. We got Henry, Jefferson, and Lamb. That's a powerful wide receiver duo right there. That's like a
young one,
sophomore duo. If this is a keeper league, I'd be scared. But and then Henry's going to lead that. And I assume Nick would probably try to go hit late with I'm running back on the next pick. So I like that. I like that high-powered receiver. Elite running back 1, and then 2 high-powered receivers. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, that's a powerful 1-2 punch at wide receiver. You can honestly go with I don't know how Jimmy will feel with this, but you could go with 1A, 1B on which one's actually going to perform better this year,
I would
wide
agree.
receiver
I'd
wise.
agree.
I
I mean,
could see CeeDee Lamb.
I can
doing
see
better.
because the Cowboys are more pass offense too. They pass a little more than we would see the Vikings pass, but I can see it.
Yeah.
He has more competition though, CeeDee Lamb, so that's his problem.
You just got to. You also with Jefferson. I think his biggest problem is, and I've been buying into him a little bit every single year. I keep telling Nick about him, but Cousins. It's he. I mean, I was dying laughing. There was a video I saw not too long ago where it's Justin Jefferson sitting it wide open in the back of the end zone, and Cousins is just running around and then throws it late, and you just hear Jefferson throw an F-bomb, being like, "God dang it, Cousins, just throw the effing ball."
Yeah, that's funny.
It's just so funny because it's just that's really what it is. It's I honestly, you can't ask for a better situation as a quarterback to go into than having Thielen, Cook, and Jefferson now as your weapons around you. So we'll see.
Okay,
I think that's a really good.
And then we got team 5 here: Zeke, Hopkins, and Robinson.
That's a good team.
Yeah, that's 2 solid running backs and an amazing receiver too. Well, 1 amazing running back, 1 amazing receiver. 1 for me, Robinson's the question mark there. I don't know. We don't know. None of us do. So it kind of depends on how that offense moves.
We talked about it last time.
Exactly. It depends how that offense moves. So we kind of covered that good. Next team, team 6, Chubb, CEH, Allen Robinson. I think this might be my favorite team I picked personally, like that I picked for me, because I just think Chubb's solid. I think CEH is going to explode, and I think Allen Robinson's solid. That's what you can ask for: solid, volume, and I think these guys have it. I think the most nervous for me is Chubb because of Kareem Hunt, but I still he's proved us time and time again. But it always is in the back of my head to be nervous about Kareem Hunt. Yeah. All right.
Agreed. Yeah.
There's not much more needs to be said about that, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So the next team we got is Nick's team, Team 7. The 7th pick, it was Aaron Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Josh Jacobs. Nick, what do you have to say about
solid?
That?
I think it's just, it's not my favorite team that I picked, but I think it's a solid team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think obviously being the 7th pick in a 12-person league, it's kind of rough.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I believe in all these guys to have good years, so we'll see what happens. I mean, the only person I'm not really sold on is Josh Jacobs, but I mean, it's always just a question mark whenever they bring in a new running back. We'll see if he's a backup or not, but time will tell.
Yeah. All right, so then we got this next team, Team 8, Eckler, Metcalf, and Waller. I like it. I'm afraid of Metcalf, but I still like it.
I like it too.
I like the.
Hey, I love
Metcalf. I love Eckler.
I think Eckler.
I think they need to give him the ball in the freaking red zone. That's what I think they need.
Yeah. But remember, I mean, he scores touchdowns in different ways.
Yes.
So I mean, I'm not concerned if he doesn't run. He's not the featured back in the goal line, but I think he can score in different ways and get points. I mean, he only scored 3 touchdowns last year once he came back.
I'm hoping Edmonds is like him.
Yeah, and he still had amazing fantasy numbers. So
you're right. You're totally right.
Yeah, Eckler, I'll say one thing, being that I drafted him. That he's my biggest worry on this team as far as consistent points, and I don't mean that as in he's not going to get consistent points. I mean that as far as I can't remember the last time that he hasn't had some type of an injury where that sat him a couple games or two, and being that I only have through the first 3 rounds only 1 running back, I do kind of need to rely on him to not get injured through the season. So that's kind of my biggest worry for him. Besides that, he is a in between the 20s running back on this team. So like Jimmy was saying, he's not a red zone running back. He's from your 20-yard line to their 20-yard line, and then you're going to get one of your more powerful running backs usually. And you kind of see that with those skinny, smaller running backs. They don't really get the goal line touches.
And to give you guys a look in, I would listen to a podcast. Check it out, Fantasy Footballers Podcast. After you watch every episode of ours, you can check those out. They talked about Austin Eckler. They had Austin Eckler on their show talking, and they asked him about him being the goal line, red zone running back. And he didn't say he wasn't the red zone running back, but he also didn't say he was the red zone running back. So that's something to take note of. It's going to be the risk. But that reception upside, this is a half PPR league. I think he should be okay as long as he stays healthy. I think he should be okay. I even think he tweeted something about draft me in your leagues. So it's like, you better freaking follow through, Austin, if you're tweeting that stuff to us, So he has that chip on his shoulder, The guys don't just tweet that out, So I do.
He sounds like what was that, DJ Moore with Steve Smith?
Yeah, DJ Moore. If DJ Moore needs to work on catching the ball, okay.
He start me. If I start you and you get me, if I start you and you get me 12 or 2 points, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you.
All right,
beep that out.
It's all right. And so then we're at team 9 here. That's the Adams, Gibson, Swift team. Love Adams. I love Gibson. I kind of questioning Swift, but I needed a running back too. So he kind of got to go there. Also, if you're drafting this weekend, remember that DeAndre Swift is quite iffy for week 1. So don't be surprised if he's not even
And
there.
he's against the Niners. So.
And probably grab Jamal Williams. Try to grab Jamal Williams if you have DeAndre Swift, just in case, Yeah, so that's good. And grab J.D. McKissick if you have Gibson too, just in case. They dropped Peyton Barber to the practice squad, so I think it's going to be Gibson's backfield, but we shall see. All right, so then we go to Team 10. That's Nick with Hill, Jonathan Taylor. That's Tyreek Hill, of course. Jonathan Taylor and Mike Evans. I think Evans, for me, I think was a little bit early of a pick for me, but I probably would have gone Kittle if I was in that spot, Nick. Why'd you go Evans over Kittle? That's kind of what I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to go ahead and get tight end, either George Kittle or maybe wait a little bit for Kyle Pitts. I was fine with going either. Obviously, I wanted to make sure that I had a better wide receiver because I'm not huge on, I like guys like Kupp, Lockett, and, Adam Thielen, but I'm not. I like Mike Evans a lot more with that big play ability. Yeah. So that's kind of the rationale behind that. You could argue with Kittle, but I mean, Kittle's always getting hurt.
I'm just wondering. Yeah, I
see what
agree.
happens.
I agree. Mike Evans might be safer, and now he's got Tom Brady who's not hurt this year, right? So, all right. So go to Team 11 here. Kelsey, Saquon, and Mike Davis. See, I like that on the swing around on this team. JD's going to be able to grab probably your wide receiver right away, so then it's nice to grab Mike Davis. Just have that running back, too. He can plug it in this 12-team league. Yeah.
I just love that JD took Kelsey in first round. I mean, Kelsey should be. I think in PPR leagues, there's no reason. Even on a 10-person league, I don't see why you couldn't pick Kelsey first round. I mean, he's that good.
That volume.
He's literally a wide receiver, a number 1 wide receiver for the best passing offense in the league.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean,
you have an advantage on everyone who has a tight end if you take Kelsey. Pretty much, you pretty much have an advantage on like more than half the teams in your league. You have an advantage on like an 8 to 10 point cushion on every team. So then you can find receivers late in the rounds that are really solid, really good. You can find tight ends, but not that caliber. You know what I mean? You can find like the ones that'll get you like 10 points. Kelsey can get you 20 to 25, maybe even 30. But so yeah, and Saquon scares me to death. I wouldn't pick him in the first round personally. That's why we didn't. I don't think any of us do it. Second round, take him with ease. That team could freaking explode. This team that JD has could easily explode. So I like it.
Yeah, to what you guys are saying, my biggest thing is with this team, I kind of pictured what was best available, and then I like to point out a little bit of my success from last year again in fantasy. My top 2 wide receivers were, I think, Thielen and Diggs, who I got in 5th, 7th. Then you can talk about Deontay Johnson, who I got in the 9th. Then you can talk about CeeDee Lamb, I got in the 13th. So to Jimmy's point, you can get wide receivers later on, and they can. I mean, who knows that you could get a. We talked about it. I don't know if it was last episode. I think it was. But like Pittman, for example, he's going in the 13th, 14th round, depending on what the size of your league. He's going to be a wide receiver 1 this year for that team for at least a little bit. Who knows? He could have a really good sophomore season. So you can get wide receivers later on in these drafts. And the biggest thing for me is to make sure that you get those running backs, because running backs are a little less once you go to the past, the 6th or 7th round. You're getting almost backups at running backs usually. So I like to get my running backs a little bit early, just simply because I think you can get wide receivers later at a better value.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go to the last team here. Diggs, Harris, Kittle, Team 12. Last snake around. I like it.
Good team.
I like it.
Yeah.
You'd probably want to grab a running back the next pick, or Patrick Mahomes. We'll see. Maybe it's basically picking him in the 3rd round if I did that. I'm less against picking Mahomes, or like, of course, obviously, as I said, there's 2 more teams in this draft, so that's like when I was yelling, "You're a fool." It's also more towards 10-team leagues, but I still think you're a little bit of a fool if you do it in a 12-team league too. But
also, if you pick Mahomes over like Kyler Murray,
Josh Allen, I just think you gotta go with those guys.
I would even pick Russell Wilson. Call me crazy, but
I don't know. I'd go Mahomes over Russell Wilson.
What about Lamar Jackson?
No, Lamar Jackson, unfortunately, they don't give him any weapons over there, and he's like, they decided to play his weapons and break them, so it's like playing his toys before the game even started with J.K. Dobbins, So it's, I don't know about that, but we did it, guys. We made it through the first 3 rounds of a 12-team league. I hope this information can help you guys. Remember that we value running backs a lot, and you should too. And there's not that many. That's something I think I learned from this, is there is no running backs. Like, as we started to get to the end there was not much. But anyways.
Grasping at straws.
At straws, baby. But you know what? Some are going to hit. It's just the way fantasy football works. Some of these guys we picked, they're going to fall on their face and suck. Some of these guys we picked that were like, I didn't want to pick them, are going to rock your world. Just make the best educated pick. Pick for volume. Go look up people's targets, how many targets they had last year, how many carries they get. That's why, like JD talked about, we didn't want like a Miles Sanders because guy never gets more than like 15 carries, and now they're going to split that backfield. So watch that stuff. That's good for your draft. I hope this helps you guys, and thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video. Hit that bell so you get notified with the next episode, and we'll see you guys next time on the Fantasy Football Bros podcast. Thanks again.
Thanks for watching the Fantasy Football Bros podcast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.